Hello and welcome to week 4 of the kitchen renovation. This is about one of the only places in my house where I can actually find space to sit in front of my bedroom door. Just got a random shelving unit here that was in the kitchen and is now here housing stuff from the kitchen. It's total chaos and I'm going to film an update as the week goes on, so I'm going to pick up the camera whenever I remember to and give you an update as we go through the week, and then I'll probably come back on Sunday and give you a kind of overview of what's happened over the course of the week. I am feeling quite stressed with it now. I thought I was being quite relaxed and okay with it, but I think as we enter week 4 of the chaos and just stuff everywhere, it is now beginning to get a little bit overwhelming. Everything gets dusty, I think, because everything's so messy. You don't have sort of space to clean it, but also there's no point because it's just going to get dusty again the next day. So the whole house just feels like it needs a massive clean, a massive tidy, a massive dust and a massive hoover. And I'm really looking forward to getting to that stage. At the end of this week, the schools kick out for half term and everybody has a week off. We've also got bank holiday as well, and that feels like it couldn't be worse timed because I'm pretty sure we won't have a finished kitchen at that point. Yeah, so let's sit back and see how the week goes, and I will see you again at the end of the week and see where we are. Welcome to week 4, day 1. It's actually Tuesday, but the builder doesn't do Mondays because he looks after his grandchild. So this is the first day of the 4th week. Got some jacket potatoes going in the air fryer. And this is how the kitchen looks. Our oven's in there, our hob's in there. The cat, it's not our cat, it's next door's cat, is loving it. Like, she can't wait to get in here. Every day after the builder's gone, she's like, what can I climb in? What new cupboards are there? What new boxes? She's not going to have much luck there because that's where the sink is. Might have a comedy cat moment in a minute. And all the units are, well, basically in. Obviously, everything needs to be fitted within them and the doors and everything. We've got painting to do and tiles and everything. I would have liked to have the painting done because I'm doing this strip up here before the units went in, but I just couldn't decide on the colour, so that's where we are. It doesn't matter. I've done the roof, I've done the ceiling, and I've chosen a light, which I'll show you later in this vlog, and that's where we are. And that's where the cat is. Need to water these, but in other news, got progress here. Oh god, that's a small one. I only watered these this morning, they look so dry. It's been warm today. Flowers coming up on the peas. Random Tito. Lovely lavender. Cats have been digging in our flower beds again. Oh, just constantly having to deal with cat poo. And just to show you, he wasn't making an appearance last time. I don't want to scare him. Oh, I scared him. He is there. He's just, I think I worried him, so we'll leave him be.
Dropped to the depths.
He's dropped to the depths. And chickens are having their vegetables. Hi. Hi girls. You're not going to go and eat, hey hey? I promised last time and completely forgot to show you the lilac, which smells incredible. So lovely. Need to paint this fence. It is now Wednesday It's about 6 o'clock and I've just got in from work, and here is where we are. We've got some drawers built here. We have well, we do have a sink, but it's not plumbed in. This is the new sink ready to go in tomorrow. So we're now at washing up in the bath stage. And the cooker's in. And I was a bit worried about the cooker because it's really hard to buy online, but I really like it. It's not an expensive one, it's just a Hisense one. I'm really pleased with it. It's a fan oven and a conventional oven and grill at the top. And the work surfaces have started to go in. Let's see if I can show you. So these are laminate. At least I think that's what the material is, but they look like oak, and they've even got like faults in them, like grooves and knots and broken bits, but it's not really. It's all an illusion, which I really like. I really like that. I was really worried about the work surfaces, so I just can't wait for everything to be gone. Hang on. I just can't wait for all this mess to be gone so that I can clean my work surfaces. I feel like someone's come into my kitchen now and I'm like, what are you doing? These are my work surfaces, I need to clean them. Oh, the hob's out. Ooh, I've actually gone for smaller everything. We had a big range cooker and we honestly only ever used 1/2 of it, and it had 5 rings on the gas hob and we only ever used 4 of them, and the middle one we just used for storing stuff whilst we were cooking. So we were like, well, we don't ever use it, so we've gone for 4. And I've gone for one, it's gas hob. We get a lot of power cuts here, so I wanted to make sure we still had a method of cooking, and I like cooking on gas, but it's actually got actual different levels of gas, so you can actually think, right, I put it on 3 usually to simmer rather than just sort of guessing, which I thought was really interesting. Oh, those are quite substantial knobs though, aren't they? It's a bit excessive, but I'm sure I'll get used to them. I just hope I don't bash them with a pan or something. So hopefully that'll be in tomorrow as well. Yeah, and pretty soon hopefully I'll be putting all my mugs, mainly mugs, in the cupboards. In the meantime, I know it's Wednesday, but I've just put a bottle of Rosanti in the fridge. I mean, in my defence. I keep putting the camera down and then picking it up 24 hours later. So this is going to be a bit of a disjointed start to the vlog. I wanted to show you this, but first I'll show you this. So this is the progress. We now have a sink, which I'm a little bit worried about. It's a composite sink. So yeah, composite sink. All the worktops are in, and I love them. The hob is in, really pleased with that as well. Obviously it's got pan supports to go on as well. And that's the progress for today. It was a lot of work doing the work surfaces, and he's done a brilliant job and cutting all the holes and everything for the hob and the sink. But this has been our saving piece of equipment. I got it on Amazon. It's about 30 quid, and it just plugs in there and it's a pan. It's a magical self-heating saucepan. Well, it's not really self-heating, it's electric, it just heats up. Alexa, stop. That's my sign to check the pasta. I've had a bit of a bargain in finding a light for the kitchen. I've been doing a lot of looking on Pinterest and looking on Google for ideas for lights. So I went to John Lewis just to have a look at some lights in real life so I could actually see what they look like. And I saw that they had a reduced to clear section. So these are usually 70 quid. So it's a saving of £14, 56. And it said, what did it say? Reduced to clear. And then there was a sticker on it. It said something like refurbished to standard B or something. So the lady at the counter and I couldn't work out what that meant. And she had to ring around her manager and everything. And we eventually worked out it meant that it would have at least 7 marks on it. So we took it out the box to have a look. And neither of us could find anything really. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's got all the fixings and everything. Nothing's missing. The plate is fine. Oh, sorry. The white plate is absolutely fine. The only thing we could see is it had a tiny little nick here. But I don't know how closely you look at your kitchen lights, but I don't tend to look at mine that closely. I'll look at the instructions later. Oops. And this is the little shades. So, how does this work then? Oops. There we go. So I've got 3 of those. I'll buy some bulbs today and then hopefully our builder Mark can fit this for us on Tuesday. Nice and simple, light and bright. Hello, it is Sunday, the end of week 4 of the kitchen renovation. I think even though we've come a long way, we're in more of a mess than we have been the entire time. So we've still got, you know, everything out on the table. We're still sort of partly cooking over here on the dining room table. We've still got a load of builder's stuff in the corner here. We have done a dump run and got rid of tons of the cardboard, the recycling and everything like that. And we've been out today shopping for tiles and other bits, which I was going to film for a bit of lovely B-roll, kitchen renovation B-roll, and obviously completely forgot, just didn't do it. But I'm going to show you where we are with the kitchen, so I'm going to flip the camera around. Ooh. Now, I'm not sure why there's a chimney. It might be because I dragged it in there to stand on it yesterday. But this is where we are. We have all the cupboards are in, all the work surfaces are in. The hob is now fully, properly plumbed in. And this is what it looks like. I've even given it a wash and a wipe. We have used our new oven for pizza once as well. We've got 1 working socket, so we can actually make tea in the kitchen. But all the sockets are being done at the same time as the tiling, which will happen next week. And I'm not going near these cupboards because it's still got all builder stuff in, but I have started to put shelves in and clean them up over here. And then I stopped because I realised that actually until I've got everything laid out in front of me, knowing what I've got to put away, I don't really know what heights that I should be doing the cupboards. So I've just put a few bits there just for ease of access, but I'm going to wait until everything's done before I put everything back together. We still haven't got a floor. The floor's going in, well, it can go in any time really. And that's because I can't make a decision. He's going to level it off. And I just can't make a decision on whether I want tile, whether I want vinyl, whether I want tile effect vinyl or wood effect tile, or I just don't know. So jury's out on that one. And obviously we've still got a load of painting to do. The light that I showed you earlier will be fitted. We've still got to put our Sputnik light back up in the dining room, and we've obviously got to paint. Once I've finally made a decision on paint. Yeah, so we are very nearly there, but not quite. And that is the end of week 4. Right, we are back in my little spot that we were in earlier in the week. I think I'm actually wearing the same t-shirt. It has been through the wash. And I'm going to give you a bit of an update on the books that I've been reading, because I realise I haven't really done that recently. I think I recorded something for the last vlog and then cut it out because it just got too long. So just so you know, I finished, let's have a look. I've got my story graph in front of me. So I finished Death Comes to Marlow by Robert Thorogood, and I listened to that on audiobook and I really enjoyed it. They're not my favourite type of books, I have to say. I've listened to 2 of them in the series now and I'm not sure if I'd listen again. I like the characters, but I find them a little bit, I don't know, unsatisfying in the way the story flows and the outcomes and everything. So I finished that, and then I finished Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This is the first, I think, in a trilogy about 3 different sisters. This one's about Chloe Brown. She has chronic illness and it's a love story. It's a love story between her and the male character called Red. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my kind of romance. I think it is quite fruity in parts, and those bits were a little bit, I don't know, excruciating. They were a bit like, ooh, you know, shoulder raising, like, not sure that feels very realistic, I'm not sure. But the story, the actual, and also there was a lot of peripheral characters, which I know will probably be picked up in the later books in the trilogy, and I felt that I wanted more of those in this story about her relationship with her sisters and her grandmother, and they obviously come from a wealthy family. There was nothing really more in depth about that, which I thought would have been interesting. It was very much just about the relationship between her and the love interest, Red, and it was a lot about how he was so accepting of her chronic illness and about being a normal person who can have a love life whilst having chronic illness. I mean, that was absolutely brilliant aspect of the story. But as a romance, it didn't really do it for me. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, but I'm definitely going to read the rest in the series. So yeah, very good. I finished that one. What did I finish next? Then I listened to Pride and Prejudice on audio. I listened to the version read by Lindsay Duncan. She did a really good job. The recording itself wasn't excellent. It sort of dipped in and out a bit of stereo, but it didn't bother me and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's so old-fashioned and so funny, and the language and the culture and the lifestyle and everything is just so different to now. I know we all know that is, you know, very, very different time. But yeah, really enjoyed it. The characters in Pride and Prejudice are just brilliant. I love Mr. Collins, I love Mrs. Bennet, and they're just brilliantly written, and I really, really enjoyed listening to that. And then I started on, oh no, after that or during that, I started on Open Water. This was one of my charity shop bargains. I think I got this for 50p or £1, and it is brand new. And I think I saw it in Waterstones like a week later for like £8.99 or something. Yeah, £8.99. So I was delighted with that. So this is a debut novel by Caleb Azumah Nelson. I started reading this because I needed a very little book to put in my bag when we went into London for the Women's FA Cup final. We went to see Chelsea versus Man U in the FA Cup final for the women's football. It was brilliant. It was a great day, and there was lots of time on the train and so on where I had time to read. In fact, my ticket for the FA Cup final is my bookmark. And aren't they the best types of bookmark, where you have something from the day you were reading or when you started reading, and you use something that's involved in that day as your bookmark. So I have been thoroughly enjoying it. I'm about halfway through just from the bits I read on that day. And I've stopped because I've just picked up what I was reading, which I'll cover in a minute once we got home from that day. And also there is a lot of reference in this to different music, and it's really, really quite important to some of the things that he talks about. It's a very poetic book. It is beautifully written. It is written in the second person, so he is telling the story as if he is telling the story to himself, which can be really, really confusing to read. But you do kind of get used to it, but I do have to work hard at staying in that zone. But it's beautifully written. But because the music is so important, I'm going to go, and I haven't yet, to see if there's a soundtrack that I could listen to so that I know when he refers to music what he's talking about. And then I'm going to get back. It's silly really, because there's not much left to read and I could probably finish that quite quickly, but loving that so far. The one that I've got on the go though that I started because I just couldn't resist it anymore is one of my birthday books. I've taken off the outer cover, but it is Babel by R.F. Kuang, and this is long, very long and brilliant. I am 137 pages in and it is 540 pages long. And I'm really sucked into it. It's set in a sort of fictional past Oxford where a lot of the world or a lot of the UK especially is powered by magic using bars of silver, which they power with, how to describe it, things that get lost in translation. The gap between what one word in English means and what it would mean in another language, whereas that language, if you speak that language, would convey a whole lot more than the actual English translation, and what gets lost in there, this is a terrible explanation, is what makes the magic. It's so interesting. It's brilliantly written. I love it, and every time I step into it I actually feel like I'm opening a door into the Tower of Babel, into Oxford, into that world. It really, really does bring you into a world, and I'm loving it. No idea where it's going to go, and sometimes I feel a little bit not intelligent enough to read it, but I'm really enjoying it. And that's where I'm at. Those are my books, and that's you all updated on books and the kitchen. So I will see you again in a week's time. I will give you hopefully a really good update for week 5, because I think a lot is going to happen next week. There'll be tiling going in. I will finally be able to actually put things in cupboards. The dishwasher, although it's in, hasn't got the proper door on it yet, so that'll be done. And our fridge is arriving on Tuesday, our new fridge as well, so that'll be in. So I think there's going to be quite a big transformation between now and then. So I'm going to shut up and leave you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a week's time, and bye.